Hi, I'm Professor Bonnie, and this is a short hands-on introduction to Power BI Desktop. I'll show the main parts of the interface and then build a simple chart using the sample Superstore Excel file. There's no advanced formulas, just the basics to get you started. First, let's take a look at the areas that you're going to use most frequently, and that would be your ribbon menus. So just like Excel, there are ribbons at the top. So this is the home menu where you have copy, paste, and format painter. I really like format painter in the context of Power BI. There's also a data pane where you can connect data to various sources. You can see that we have Excel here. There's also OneLake. There's SQL servers and some other options. And you can also access some of these options right here in the center. There's also some more ribbons with more tools. And when you select certain things, sometimes you'll see other tools up here as well. This is just like Excel. There's also pages down on the bottom. As you can see, we have one page. We could add another page. And this is in our report view. So the report view, I'm hovering over this little left tab that has some options here. Report view is where you will build out your visualizations. There's also table view. There's no data connected, so there's nothing to see just yet, but it would look very much like an Excel file when you switch to table view. We'll also take a look at model view, and this is where you can connect data, so you can view different tables and connect their relationships and use them to build visualizations. We'll be spending most of our time today in the report view. The very first thing that you'll have to do when you do anything in Power BI is to add some data. So let's do that now. We're going to use Excel. So you could click here, or you could also go to the home ribbon and you could click here. I'll use this one this time. And I have my sample Superstore data set here. And so you see that I have three tables. I have orders, returns, and users. I'm going to select the three of these, and when I have one selected, I do get a preview, which is very helpful. And I could just load them, but I'm going to transform data in this case because in my users table, it's not recognizing region and manager as the headers. It's adding column 1 and column 2 headers. The returns table is okay, and the orders table is okay. So just the users table has an issue. So I will click Transform Data, and my Power Query Editor opened up in another window, so I'm bringing it over for you to see. And here we see that we have the users table selected. We could toggle between them to take a look. In future videos, we'll do a little bit more work in this view, but for now, we are just going to fix this one issue where we need to use the first row as headers, and there is a very easy button you can click here. Go ahead and select that. You can see that I clicked it, and now I have region and manager as the headers. I'll click Close and Apply in the upper left-hand side of this window. Okay, so now I have data in here, and you can see that I have a data pane over here, a visualizations pane, and I have a filters pane as well. The three of these are collapsible or expandable, and you could edit the size of each pane. This is your visual workspace, so this is where you're going to see the visualizations that we build. But first, let's take a look at table view. Again, it has a very Excel-looking view, and you can toggle between your different tables. And then let's take a look at the model view. I'm going to move my tables a little bit just so you can see how this works. And there is a relationship here. When I hover over this centerpiece, you can see that we are connected a one-to-many relationship between users and orders. But we don't have returns connected to anything. So we do have order ID in the orders table, and we have order ID in the returns table, and I'd like to connect them, even though we're not going to use different tables in one visualization in this video. We will do it in the future, and it's good practice. So I will take the order ID and click and drag over to the order ID in the table I want to connect it to, and I get a new relationship dialog box here. The settings look okay to me, so I will click Save, and now you can see that my table is connected. So when I hover over the connection, I can see that it highlights the order ID between both tables, and when I hover over the connection between the users and the orders, I can see that region is connected between both tables. Now that these basic steps are complete, let's return to the report view. And we're going to make our very first visualization. We're going to go to the data pane here, and I'm going to expand the visualizations pane as well. And I'm going to click the arrow to expand the orders. So over here I have a variety that I could choose to make a chart with, and so I'm going to select sales by checking the box. You can see that immediately it made a chart. And I'm also going to select region. Now I have a chart with sales by region. I also think it would be nice to add profit to the chart. We can adjust the size of our chart and make it bigger or smaller. And we can also change our chart type. And if you toggle around, you can take a look at a few different options. And then finally, I'm going to settle on a stacked column chart. So in my Power BI, it's the first row and the second column. And when you hover over, it will read stacked column chart. So changing our chart types is the very first thing that we've done in our visualizations pane, but we can also do other formatting here. And if I click on here with the paintbrush in front of these columns, I have some other formatting options that are revealed. We can choose the color of, we can change the color of the bars by going to the columns menu, and you do have to have your chart selected. So if you find that you go to format and the settings don't look right, make sure that your chart is selected, and then when you click the format and the columns menu, you'll have some color settings here. So first you have to tell it what series to apply to. Since I have more than one, I have a choice. So first I'll select sales, and I would like it to be green. There's no green here on this first menu, so I'll select more colors and select a nice green that I like. Now let's also change the sum of profit. In this case, I do like blue, but maybe I will take a lighter shade of blue. On second thought, I like this one better. Now I close the column menu, and I would like to have data labels. So let's go ahead and turn that on. You can see that now we can see labels on all of our data. And if your chart is still very small, you might not see all of your labels. So expanding your chart size will make it easier for Power BI to display those labels. But we do have an issue here where we are viewing sales and profit, and we would prefer to see them in a currency format rather than just a decimal. So this is done over on the data level. If I click on profit, you'll notice that my ribbon has changed over to column tools. And here, where I have a format, I can select currency. And now I have a dollar sign. I can do the same thing on sales by selecting sales and setting a currency. Now I have a dollar sign on all of my sales figures as well as on this y-axis. Now let's toggle over to the General tab. We're still in the Format menu, but we're going into the General tab. We have a title, but let's change the title. So let's open this, expand it, and let's type in something that makes a little bit more sense than sum of sales and sum of profit by region. Something that's a little less wordy. Perhaps sales and profit by region. We can also make this text larger. We could make it bold. Then we can do other formatting such as color and other things. We could center it. I'm going to keep it left centered, and I'll go ahead and collapse that. You also have options for other things. I'm going to head back to the Visual tab now, and in the legend, you can see it's on, and the legend corresponds to this up here. Sum of sales is marked as green, where sum of profit is marked as blue. I'm going to expand the legend menu, and I'm going to just change the orientation to top right. You could also add text. I'm going to add a title, and I'm just going to call it Legend. So we can see under the Legend menu, I added the title text here, and it appeared up here. It's in a dark gray color. I could change it to black, or I could leave it as dark gray. I will collapse the Legend menu, and now I want to turn off the titles on the axes. So I'll go to the y-axis menu, and I'm going to turn the title off for this, and then I will go, and that removed the title. And now I'll go to the x-axis where it says region, and I will also remove the title for that by toggling it off. And that is how easy it is to get started in Power BI. We just made our very first visualization, and stay tuned for the next video.